Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. I'm Roy, Coach Destroy, and I'm here with Morning.
Coach of the Warn Dogs.
And Calvin.
Coach of Calvinator.
Righto, boys. Today we're here to look at the Giants, who, I'll tell you what, they're always relevant.
Always.
The Giants for one reason or another. And the fact is this year, they are hugely relevant. But before we kick off, I need to say,
You do.
They got a really sucky early bye.
Yes, they did last year too.
They did.
Same one, really, wasn't it? I think it was. Anyway.
Go on with what they did, Dog, and then I'll get back to the early buy. So what did their off-season look like?
Well, last year they were the fifth best team for fantasy points for.
Yep.
17th for against.
Yes.
They were very hard.
Very hard.
Yes,
Very
hard.
hard.
But what they did, they brought in an absolute superstar, Jake Stringer. And a heap of rookies as well, including Jack Off. Now, who?
Oh, yeah, there he is.
That's his name. Now, the outs, who'd they lose? They lost your mate, Isaac Cumming.
Yes.
Calvinator, who's gone to the Crows.
Yep.
And then with him, it was also Peatling, who went there, who was very fantasy relevant last
One man's
year.
trash is another man's treasure.
Perryman went as well.
Yeah.
So he went, and probably the biggest one in all of this. Oh, hang on. So Nick Haynes went to Carlton as a free agent.
Yep. Once again.
Prusy. Delisted.
What? How?
One of our favourites.
They've got no one to back up the big fella Briggsy.
Oh, he's probably not going to get hurt now. That big bugger's gone.
Briggsy actually went and said, hey, guys, I need to talk to you.
I don't need a backup. I just need him not hurting me.
Anyway, let's move into 2025 mode. And, Roy, you are the man for this because you're across the Giants
I am.
more than anybody.
Well, they flirt with being my second favourite team.
They do.
So last year we took on the bye with a couple of them.
We did.
So Tom Green and Lachie Whitfield got us off the Flyers last year taking on the bye.
Was that draw, wasn't it? So it was West Coast and North Melbourne, I think, in the first two games.
Yes, and they smashed
responded.
them. Yeah.
Callaghan.
So anyway, new year. I don't know if I'm as confident spending up to take on the bye with these guys. But let's just have a look at last year. So Lachie Whitfield, number one at 112 for the year. So
That's a lot.
We've spoken year after year about that guy just needs to be back to half-back where he looks at home and he actually dominates. Now, he did it again last year, so averaged that 112, but Cal, in the last, 10 games, 125. You whipped him that hard.
He was the reason.
And he responded.
He was the reason I am the nation's number one captain picker.
You had a lot of swag
So
about that
he actually,
too.
so he went at 124 in his last 12.
Yeah.
He equaled Arian Marshall in the
Yeah.
last 10 with 125s.
He single-handed got you back in the top 10K. I'm going to say it. It was thanks to Lachie.
Top 5K.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Pretty sure we agreed on that.
You traded him out at the start of the season though as well, though, didn't you?
Yeah, there was something going on in the early stages. I needed to get. It must have been going really well, and I was like, nah, that doesn't fit my team.
I traded him out at his bye, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what you blokes did.
Yep.
Yeah.
And held Green.
Green. Yeah. Which is the next player I wanted to talk about, coincidentally. So
99.9.
99.9. That's coming off 111.
Yeah.
And the reason for it was that round 8 injury, which it was on 7 points.
7 points.
It was absolutely cruel, especially to us hat contenders. But you know what it's like. You back in someone like that. Well, I do, and it's stupid. Like, smart coaches went 7. Shouldn't have been subbed off for a start, but 7, if he's backing up the next week,
He should be right.
I'm like, we'll hold him. Back him
roll
in.
it out,
But
yeah.
other coaches just go, bang, nah, not carrying that. And it was the right call because I think he didn't hit triple figures
Well, that
again
was
for
the
like
thing, like, it
the
wasn't-
next 6 weeks or something.
I made my big plans, I remember, to get him last year.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
And in hindsight,
That's right.
I shouldn't have just got him. I should have just gone, no,
Yep.
keep avoiding
Because it just kept lingering and lingering
Mm.
and lingering until then he went bang again at the end of the season. He basically came home averaging that 109, 110
Mm.
that we'd seen from him in the past. So if he had no bye, I would be saying I would be 100% comfortable in going, I am locking in Tom Green, M1 and rolling it for the year.
So, this is the thing, though. I almost disagree with that.
Oh,
in
yeah?
the sense of going, how much value is he? If you're saying he's 99, I'm no mathematician, but you take out that 7, He averages over 100.
Yeah.
but the thing is, if you saying lock him at M1 and that sort of stuff, why can't you do that with the best 18?
I can't because I'm changing my strategy this year.
Are you?
With the buys, and I'm not paying up for someone like that when I could get 3 games out of someone very similar as opposed to having a rookie score potentially coming into my 18.
So that early game there, round 1.
But you're right, Dog. You can do it.
I think you can.
He plays Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm not.
If you're backing him to go closer to 110, sorry.
Yeah.
I think you can back that.
Right. See, that is fine.
Because then does he become a top?
Right.
Is he a top 8? Is he in the rolling?
He will be, yeah, for sure. But I will look to use one of my throwaway trades after his buy to get him in.
Right.
That's what I'm doing this year, which is slightly different.
What if he scores 150 in round 0?
Lock and load. Okay. But no, so that's where I'm at with Green. I just don't think I can pay that much for a guy who's missing so early. Last year, I did it with multiple players.
Yeah.
But I just don't think I'm doing it this year. Right. Who's next that I wanted to talk about? In the rucks, especially in draft, when the big 2, 3, big 3,
4,
pushing
maybe
potentially a 4, when they go and you take a big break from the ruck department, from rucks going, Briggsy is going to be there, and he's someone that I think if you can get him later on, he won't let you down. He's a guy who is built to potentially average triple figures at some stage, whether that's this year coming or not. He's not going to go under like 90, for example. No. He probably won't, I'd confidently say he won't go under 95 this year, but he's one just to watch slide down.
He dropped down a couple of points, didn't he, from the year before?
He did. And I think he's going the other way. And like I said, I think I won't be surprised when he averages triple figures at some stage. Okay, Dog, there's someone of great value that I want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And it is a guy that's been in our teams a number of times over the years. And it's Stephen Coniglio.
That's right.
So 77 he's priced at.
So cheap from what he can do.
And he doesn't have DPP to start the year. He's just a straight mid. He's got a terrible buy. I think all of it is going to rule him out.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, I don't care that he's 32 now. If he once again starts in the midfield.
At 77.
Yeah.
If he plays in the midfield, he's going 90 plus. So
he is.
You're putting a decent amount
on
that.
Yeah, definitely. So he started the season really well again last year, like he does. 300s in his first, averaged over 100 in his first, 3 games.
Yeah.
It's just, we're starting to see the injuries that derail him to that point where he did drop.
And that's
20 points.
He's in that bracket of your Dohertys, your Cherrers, your Will Days, in that sort of area.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Riley Beveridge has got him in the midfield on his best 22 team.
Well, if you're picking the Giants' best 22.
Yes. That's where he
is in the midfield.
That's where he is.
It's just, he'd be someone once again that even though he's huge value, I think there's enough in the midfield around that price that don't have an early buy that sort of count him out. But, bump him up your draft order, I'd certainly say. Now, there's a couple of rookies. I don't love all of the new ones. I think there's a couple of good ones, like Harrison Oliver is a good one. But I want to look a couple of years ago's draft, look back to one of our favourites, Lonnie Boy, James Leake. So Leakey, Mr. Versatility, so he's available as a defender for $230,000. Now, if you know Leakey, he can dominate defence, he can dominate forward, but last year they actually had him earmarked for a midfield role.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
sort
and he was doing
or something.
Yeah, and legit through the guts, I think at times. Obviously, injury ruined his season, and he's become a bit of a forgotten man now. But in the VFL, when he got his body right, between round 14 and 20, he averaged 112.
Yeah.
And that was highlighted by 35 possessions.
Yeah.
35 possessions. 121 he converted that to. But Leakey's a genuine gun. If everything's going well for him and he finds a way into that team, there's someone that I don't care about the early buy. I'd be playing Leakey in a heartbeat.
Agree.
So that's one that I'm interested in.
I think that's the only time we can bring those players into our teams if they've
If
got
they've
an
got
early
value,
buy. If
yeah.
there's a value guy, and that's what you're saying.
Oh, well, rookies, I think, no matter what. And
Yeah. But if we're carrying those guys with an early buy, like, let's go like a Kitty Coleman, for example, if he's going to make the team, that is. So if you can't afford to have the $1 million men that you've got to be carrying.
I don't think so. There's going to be, speaking of value, though, Finn Callaghan, he's been a bit of a buzz name. So 789 he costs, given the circumstances as well there. He's someone that I keep an eye on through a draft, but I'm not going to start with him. So he's had back-to-back years that have looked good, 76, 77, but he's another guy who looks like he's got the tools to go next level.
Peeling out, that helps him massively, I reckon. When you look at the CBAs, that's where he took a bit of a hit at times.
Yeah.
What about Brent, Roy? My boy Brent.
So Brent's another one.
What about him?
He pumped a couple of huge scores. So
It was 180, wasn't it?
171.
So anyone who's got the ability to go that high is someone that you need to consider. So that 171, 29 touches, 7 marks, 13 tackles, 3 goals. Now that is a stat line, ladies and gentlemen. So if you can do that, you're worth
if you take that out, though, what is the average?
Okay.
He's had one other big game.
Right. In his last 7 games, including the 171, he averaged 105. Take that out, is a 94.
Well, that's still all right.
What did he score in round 24?
Round 24, he didn't play.
Oh, he's delayed out, remember?
He was too.
And that would have devastated you in your
That would have
grand
cooked
final.
a few.
Oh, wouldn't it
In
just?
the AFL final series, he scores an 80 and a 58. Brent's back. Good old Brent.
So, I mean, that's another one you watch in
One
draft.
of the things in centre bounces, so in the back half of the season, old mate Bedford Cow, he came onto your radar as the captain, man. He was like having bulk CBAs. Like, he had the most in a few of the games there at the back end, like high 90s%.
Yeah, because he's there to do one thing, and that is to tag.
Yep.
So opening round, he'll most likely have a Nick Dacos, followed by Clayton Oliver in the first round for us. So here we are jumping on that. So that's leading into the bye. So
Josh Kelly's someone that...
yes. Always a name.
And his durability isn't as bad as we all feel. Like, I think we've lost him at crucial times over the years. And it's
15 games last year, though.
Yeah, so 15 wasn't good. But prior to that, it's not as bad as you think. But Kelly's just someone that you couldn't pay up for. So he dropped to a 95 average. That was off his 98 and then 102 before that. He's a player that I love and he's capable of hitting 100 again, but it's just
What's his role turned into?
I
think
don't
that's
know.
another thing.
That's the thing.
He
He can
just really outside now.
He is, which he was sort of pigeonholed into that, and like we forgot how good he was when he actually was an inside mid as well. But yeah, so he's a no dog, as well as their star recruit Jake Stringer.
Where's Stringer?
He's a no as well.
He'll play in the half
Toby
forward.
Green's someone to watch in draft.
Yes.
That his average is well below what he did the previous year
He can be
and what
80
he's
plus.
capable of. 100%. So you see him down with the guys averaging 73.
Yes.
He's capable of 85. He did 89 last year prior to that. So that's another one as well. But as far as the Giants go, there's not much more than what I just spoke about, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's the Giants.
There it is.
Go and check out the article at afl.com.au. Pick your fantasy team now at fantasy.afl.com.au and get your draft league set up at fantasydraft.afl.com.au. And if you listen to the podcast, make sure you're following and leave us a comment about which player from the Orange team that you want to pick this year.